What's good, my Division family? Welcome back to another Tom Clancy Division 2 PvE build video. Not gonna lie, this build actually threw me off the charts. I looked in the comments, a lot of y'all told me to try out this one talent that we're going to get into. And you know, I was always too shabby about it. I never really expect too much of it, but I actually tried it out and I actually have a build here for you today. So stay tuned, get your popcorn, do what you do, relax. I'm here to show y'all something brand new. Hopefully you enjoy this, but I know you would. But if you're new, leave a like. If you're a returning person, leave a comment. And if you a hater, you already know my slogan. I'll deal with you when I deal with you. Again, we ain't gonna hold too much of your time. We're just going straight into it. Hit the air guitar, you know what time it is. But anyway, let's dive straight into this build right here. Now, you've probably seen some of these pieces I've used before with my previous clutch build, but that's why I was like, you know what? Let me just try something different with some health, and let me try something with that unstoppable force. You already know. But before we dive into what we got now, because we got a lot of stuff going on, I'm just gonna start with the specialization. Now, the reason why I went with the specialization again, or should I say the firewall specialization, it ain't really no main reason. You could use any specialization, but you know, I'd rather have some survivability for some health on kill, because this is a health build, so we need some health on kill, and there's nothing in the game that gives you health on kill but Hunter's Fury, which we're not using, and with the specialization, and that's it. Again, I wish the devs would give you more, but we talked about that before. I ain't finna go down that rabbit hole. Another reason why we kind of want the specialization is because we got the striker shield. This shield specifically comes with this specialization. This shield, you know, we could just go into the skills real quick, but this shield, it comes with it. Like, I ain't even dab too much into that. We'll get to that when we get into that. But that's why we went with specialization. And also, as well, this specialization got a perk where when your armor breaks, you put other enemies on fire, which actually comes in clutch to help you when you in those moments when you're getting jumped. But that's why we went with the specialization. I think it's missing one more thing. Oh yeah, this specialization has the best kit in the game. So when you pop a kit, you get health for 10 seconds and armor back for 10 seconds. Again, we have a health build, so we need some survivability in our health. And like what I said previously, there's nothing in the game that gives you health on kill or health regen or anything like that. So that's what we got with that. Secondly, we're going for the weapons. Now you, and I'm gonna say it again, you could use any weapon that you want. But if you know me, I've been playing with the Backfire for a minute, and I just started playing with this GR9, as you see, and I went with these weapons. I really don't feel like there's really too much like good SMGs in the game, or good SMGs exotics that's going to give you strong enough damage. I mean, you got the Lady Death, but that has a short mag. We see the Backfire has 50 in the mag, hits for 121.12k, 850 RPM, and obviously we got expertise 30. But the special thing about the Backfire is basically every time you land shots, you basically get 2% critical hit damage up to 100 stacks. So you basically get up to over 200 crit hit damage on top of what you already have on your build. And it's easy to get it because all you gotta do is land your shots. And trust me, you probably think the bleed is nothing. Like I said, I've been playing with the Backfire for a minute. The bleed doesn't really bother me as much, but if you don't know, this gun do put you on a bleed for a little bit, and that'll be what it is. You know, you see the talent right there. I just brought the talent down small because I ain't finna read everything. I'm just gonna get straight to it. But I went with the Backfire. You can use any SMG you want, but like I said, the Backfire has that crit hit damage that we need, and yeah, that's what it is. Next, we went with the GR9. You see me play with this in the clips from far range. I have a gun for far range and up close. Now, we have Frenzy. The reason why we want Frenzy is because y'all already know, bro. Y'all already know how I come. Y'all see how I did last video. The reason why we want Frenzy is because we want to kill things as fast as we can so we could get that unstoppable force proc, right? Not even that. Let's read what Frenzy do. For each 10 bullets in your magazine capacity, gain 3% rate of fire and 3% weapon damage for 9 seconds. When reloading from empty. Let me say that again. When reloading from empty. Now, a lot of y'all probably seen me in the videos just shoot air. You probably, I know when y'all going to comment, what are you shooting the air for? I already know how y'all be, bro. That's why I'm shooting the air. It's to get the frenzy proc easier to activate. If you reload, you have to reset the whole frenzy proc, you gotta just do it over again. And if you don't know, the GR9 already comes with 200, well, it don't come with 200 in the mag, but I have 200 in the, well, no, it do come with 200 in the mag. You could put more if you want to, so you could put a 35 pouch. I just went with a rate of fire because I'd rather shoot as fast so I could actually get the proc to happen faster. Again, you could go with, you know, more crit damage, reload speed, and if you do put the 35 in the mag, I mean, you would get more out of frenzy, but like I said, it would take you a little bit longer for you to get the frenzy proc, you know. So I'd rather just get it instantly, and that'll just be it. I have accuracy on this as well. I said this in my last video. What's the point of having all that crit damage or crit chance if you ain't got no accuracy or no optimal range or stability? Specifically, this LMG is not that hard to control, but the accuracy is annoying. When you shoot LMGs, you kind of tend to, you know, move, or like the cursor tends to move a lot. So throw some accuracy on that. We got crit chance, and if you don't know, the GR9 comes with a built-in C79 scope that gives you crit chance, which is actually slept on. And then we have damage to armor as well on this. Those are the two weapons that I went with. Again, this is a template. You can use whatever that you want, but we ain't gonna spend too much time on the weapons. Pistol, it doesn't matter, you can do what you want with that. Now let's go into the gear. We're just gonna dive into the mash. We got 2-piece palisades. The reason why, like I said, we need some survivability. We got some armor on kill. We throw the 2-piece on to get 60% health because health is rare to get in the game, and that's how we made up for what we got here. So we have health, crit damage, and crit damage again. On the holster, we have health and crit damage, and we actually rolled that to a red core. Palisades always roll with blue, so you got to get it to be a unicorn. That's it. Next, we have 3-piece Seska. Y'all already know how we do this. 3-piece Seska. The reason why I went with 3-piece Seska is because we need a 90% health. Yeah, the 8% critical hit chance and the 20% hazard protection is okay, and actually that comes in good for the backfire when you get put on bleed. But the main reason why we're using this is because we need the 90% health, right? We have another talent, which is Obliterate. Critical hits increase weapon damage by 1% for 10 seconds, stack up to 20 times. We got that for the chest piece. Again, we going for a lot of damage. That's why we at 1.3. You know, I'd rather have lower armor so I could shred things faster to get these procs to active faster. And then I have a special knee pad on the reason why I went with a lot of reds, because if you have this knee pad, and a lot of y'all been farming for it for, you know, the stretch goals, you know what I'm talking about, the Turmoil Kneepads. We're gonna get into it very soon, but that's why we want as much damage. So to talk about that, let's go into it right now. Not to mention a lot of these pieces that you see, well, as you see from right here, crit chance, crit damage, you know, it doesn't really matter. But me, I'd rather have health on everything so I could have the tankier health. That's why we at 1.7, and we could go up higher, and I'm gonna show you how we do that soon. But that's what you want to go. Just get a lot of pieces that have crit damage and health on it. You're going to make a lot of your damage back up with the modifiers that we're going to dive into soon. But let's go talk about these Turmoil Kneepads. And the reason why these come in perfectly clutch in the build is because if you're playing with solo or you're playing in a team, and I've got clips of me playing in a team, of me doing legendaries with my boy Sadesti. Shout out to you for helping me do the legendary mission. We both had on these knee pads, and if you don't know what these do, when dealing weapon damage to an enemy, 50% of the damage will be dealt to another enemy within 30 meters instead of when there's no enemies nearby dealing damage normally. So basically, break it down to this: you got John, you got Sammy, and you got Randy, right? So say for example, I'm shooting John. Sammy and Randy is taking all that damage. John ain't taking that much damage because I'm shooting at him. But once Sammy and Randy is eliminated, John taking all the damage. So specifically, that's why you see I went with a lot of damage. I am trying to literally kill one person, but then I'm trying to kill a whole team so we could actually get the stack of unstoppable force to actually stack up faster. And now let's talk about unstoppable force. Now we have perfect unstoppable force. So yeah, I don't really like the one piece, you know, it don't really do anything. Like honestly, it don't do anything for this build, but we need it for the perfectly unstoppable force. So what we have is crit damage, health, and crit damage. I know a lot of y'all would have went with, you know, double crit, this is a health build, so if you have one with a double crit, be my guest, do what you want to do with it. But I went with this. So unstoppable force, killing an enemy increases total weapon damage by 7 for 15 seconds. That's a lot. Stacks up 5 times grenade kills. Added 2 stacks. We ain't using no grenade kills, but we basically getting 35% free additive damage. Add that on with obliterate, we getting 55. So you're getting 55% additive damage on top of what we have. You see the damage we doing, and then we have the turmoils. So when we shooting one, we're killing multiple, so we're stacking unstoppable force faster. And then we have the health, and then we got all the damage on the, should I say, the GR9. No matter what you use, we got all this damage. So you can just see how the build is literally synergizing perfectly, right? You need a tear a day. You went with a tear a day because you need 150% total health. You could go with any other ones you want. I mean, I got like the loaded up, you know, 25% of your crit chance value is added to crit hit damage. You know, like we went for a lot of damage, but once I activate this modifier, we're gonna go from 1.7 to like 2.4 maybe. We're gonna go high. I'm gonna show you when the time is, but that's what we went for that. That's how we getting all that damage. Unstoppable force, right? Boom. Now, y'all want to show the stats or whatever. Let's get straight to the stats. We got 70% crit hit chance, right? Because we got the modifier on. 185.5 crit hit damage on top of, you know, the backfire and everything else that we're doing. Like I said, we are going to be shredding. Like, it doesn't really matter what you tell me. We're going to be shredding, bro. For the GR9, we got 50% critical hit chance, which is okay, and 170.5 critical hit damage on top of Frenzy, on top of the Turmoil Kneepads. Like I said, you're getting 55% additive damage on top of these talent procs and the damage we have now, so you're shredding. You seen I done completed a legendary mission with the build. Trust me, the joint work. Skills, I meant to go into this as well. It doesn't really matter what skill you use. If you want to use a shield, I use a shield for the SMG, but obviously LMGs you can't use a shield, so it really depends on what you want. But me, I don't have that much survivability as much as I had with clutch, so that's why I went with a revival hive, or I could just go with a defender drone. It's up to you. You play what you want to play with. I just feel like these two was just the best for me, and that would be it. But as you see, we have 1.3 million armor and 1.7 million health, as you see right there in the stats. And if I activate the modifiers, you see we are going to be at 2.3. See, I was close. I said 2.4, but we at 2.3 million health with this build. You a tank. You're killing stuff very fast. Look, we go over here. Look, now we at 200 crit damage when we activated the modifier, or 208. We activate the modifier on top of the backfire. 400 crit damage. Like, come on, man. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Shout out to anybody that commented and told me to try Unstoppable Force. I was always sleeping on this talent, but this talent really made me like a believer, and I really might play with this a lot, like, because it does a lot of damage and the stacks are very fast when you actually put the Turmoil Kneepads. If you need these turmoils, like I said, stretch goals is going on. Get on there and grind, and hopefully get a chance of getting that as well. I might have made this video a little bit too long, but as it was a lot to put into this build, and I just wanted to break down the parts that everybody might be confused. Again, this is a template. You could do what you want, but yeah, that'll basically be it for this build. You know, if you have any other questions, you could jot down in the comments, and if you have another way, if you want to play with this, let me know. I might actually try to create it, and I might actually have a build for you. So yeah, but if you're new, leave a like. If you're a returner person, leave a comment. And if you a hater, you already know my slogan. I'll catch you when I catch you. Stay safe out there, agents. Have an exuberant day, and I'll catch you in my next video. Peace.
Yeah, boy, you're right.